Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bet Big Talk Loud snippet part of our podcast, where I'm going to go through, just like I did yesterday, broke down some of the NFL playoffs for you. And today, so much going on with Black Monday and the what I call coaching carousel of the NFL. Kind of crazy. This happens every year. There's still going to be possibly even more openings after the playoffs. I think that's why a lot of these coaches are going to wait and see. Of course, they're going to still, some guys want to get in there right away. Some guys will take any job they can get, and they're going to be interviewing all over the place. But I think there are a couple guys out there like John Harbaugh and a few others that are going to have kind of cherry pick where they want to go. I think in John's case, it's probably more of him doing the interviewing than they of him. So with as many years as he had at Baltimore and as much success as he brought there, I would think that there are a few teams out there that would love to have him. But let's go through it. You got Brian Callahan, who was fired, I think 5 weeks into the season by the Tennessee Titans, not really given much of a real chance there. And, Vrabel wasn't able to get it going in Tennessee. I don't think that Callahan was going to be able to turn things around on a dime. And now, this kid, Cam Ward, with a lot of potential, at least some would say, still a ton of potential to have the carousel going on there. I think it's just downright sad. If they get the right guy there, along with the right GM, I think that it's going to be, a lot of good times for Tennessee to come. Obviously, it can't get any worse than the season that they're coming off. You look at a guy like Brian Dable, right? Coach of the Year. I know he had it, 2022. Dable, to me, it really, he was given the shot, but for them not to fire their GM, Shane, at the same time as getting rid of Dable and to keep him around in search of yet another head coach is crazy to me. I don't think enough blame is given these days to the general managers as opposed to one-and-dones in a lot of cases throughout the NFL in head coaching positions. I think more than ever we've seen before. And now you've got these same coaches that literally get on and get off in another spot and get rehired. And I was talking to even Chris the other day about this, and even he said, he's like, most head coaches are given at least 2 shots in the NFL. Thereafter, it's kind of hard. I mean, look at a guy like Raheem Morris, who, had really, what an opportunity in Atlanta. You want to talk about, in my opinion, one of the best rosters, personnel that there are in the NFL in a division that's weak as can be, and, really easy pickings. A guy like Harbaugh probably should be taking a job in Atlanta where he doesn't have to deal with the type of stuff he had to in the AFC North, and a division that should be much, much easier for him to be able to get a shot and get into the playoffs and maybe even be able to make a good run with a team that's got, depth at just about every position. The quarterback, obviously questionable, is the only thing there. But, hey, he developed Lamar Jackson. Why can't he help out with Michael Penix or even with Kirk Cousins now that injury seems to be fully handled? Going back to Dable, I think he's going to be given another shot somewhere. Again, once a coach of the year. Now, obviously was on the chopping blocks just 10 weeks into the season. If he doesn't get a position as a head coach, we know that he's going to be a coordinator somewhere and probably get a head coach position sometime within the next few years. And I already gave my opinion on Raheem Morris. Great coordinator, has not panned out, unfortunately, as a head coach. And you know what? I cheer for the guy. I felt like, he was one of those guys that really deserved an opportunity. He's been such a great coordinator in the past, but unfortunately, it just, again, not panning out as a head coach. I'd be surprised if anyone gave him another shot. Now, to me, here's the one that really blew my mind. The Browns find a way to screw up just about anything that comes their way. I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, to keep GM Andrew Berry in place and to get rid of 2-time Coach of the Year Kevin Stefanski is just downright insane to me. By far the best, even possibly better. I'm not going to say he is better than Harbaugh, but got to be an easy number 2 as far as guy on the open market to be hired. I think he's going to have also another opportunity easily. He's going to probably get to choose where he wants to go. Where he wants to go, that's a whole nother story. But Stefanski's proven that he can win even with a bad team. He said, don't draft Shedeur Sanders. They do it anyway. They put it in his lap. I mean, listen, this guy that was able to, like I said, win with teams that, were really defensive teams and, just enough offense. I mean, Baker Mayfield, obviously, they'll say that was a mistake letting him go. But, I mean, Baker, what did he – fun to watch. One of my favorite quarterbacks to watch, but – is he going to be able to get the job done at a high level and be able to bring in Super Bowls? Yet to be seen. He's been stacked in Tampa Bay with, Chris Godwin, Emeka Egbuka, Mike Evans. The team's offensively stacked, and still they have went up and down, up and down. I know you could blame it on injury, blame it on whatever you want, but just not getting it completely done at the highest of levels for enough consistency for me. And I'm not going to blame Stefanski in that case. So, again, Stefanski is going to have his choice, really, of I think where he wants to go. Now, the next one, this is a bit tricky. The Raiders let go Pete Carroll. It didn't come to a mutual understanding. They fired him. Pete Carroll's a proven winner, man. He changed the culture, obviously, in Seattle. He did it in college at USC. He's just getting older now. Is he going to be another hire? I think he'd be a great guy to bring in as a head coach for a year or two, or somebody that will at least find the next guy to take over. I think maybe he can do that in New York for the Giants. I think there are a couple spots where he would be even, like I said, good as a consultant. But as a head coach to build like they were trying to do in Vegas, it was just a bad fit for him. And I don't think that this is a guy that's going to take it lying down. I do think he's going to take another job at a very high level in the NFL. Where it's going to be, again, my pick would have been for him to go to the Giants, but yet to be seen. Jonathan Gannon, this is a tough one for me because he was obviously given an opportunity in Arizona as the head coach, but there's so much to be said about what this guy can possibly do. I think this was, a firing that needed to be done. But at the same time, I don't think that he's not a head coach. I would still be buying. If I'm looking at him like a stock, I might be buying on this guy. I still think that if he's given the right situation with the right personnel, especially with a good defense, that's why I think it might be a good idea to put him in Cleveland. That might be a clear opportunity for him to go over there and possibly turn things around. Obviously they've got the defense to continue forward, but if they can get the right OC with him, that could be a landing spot for him. Or he just goes on to do what he did at a really high level in the past and just be a coordinator again. But that was a tough firing, like I said, for the fact that I do think that he's got the mind to do it and he's got the attitude. I just don't think that the personnel was there all year for him, and to lose as much as they did at the end, obviously the firing had to happen. Now, again, we touched on Harbaugh. I thought that would have been more of a mutual understanding than it would have been a firing. But maybe it was about time. The as much success as the Ravens have had is as much failure as the Ravens have had. I mean, they've been able to topple over the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they've been nipped by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this last one with Tyler Loop, missing that chip shot to end that game, I think was really the nail in the coffin. And I do think that they both kind of did want to part ways, and maybe this was what's best for both parties. But lot to be said about what Harbaugh has done, in his stint at almost 20 years with the Baltimore Ravens and getting them to where they are. And I think that if it wasn't for what's going on between him and Lamar Jackson, there would still be another year to be had in Baltimore. But maybe they've got other ideas. Maybe they're going to bring somebody in there. Maybe a guy like Gannon could get an opportunity even in Baltimore. And like I said, I think Harbaugh is going to get to pick where he wants to go. And we know that we may as well mention Miami Dolphins. I know that they, as of the taping of this snippet, did not fire Mike McDaniel. But I mean, for the Dolphins to put phone calls out and possibly be speaking with Harbaugh, it's got a lot to be said about what they're thinking there and what's going to be taking place in the next few days or weeks, for that matter, for ownership to be making its decision on what they're going to do. So all around, here we go again. The carousel is going around and around and around as it always does. I'm sure there's going to be more firings even after we get done with this snippet. And there's going to be a lot more hirings done over the next couple of weeks. We're going to touch on it. I'm going to have some picks for you. As always, guys, make sure that you give us a shout. You can reach us directly. We're this weekend, if you get it in time, if you watch this in time, we're going to be offering a huge play, a blowout winner in college football as well, in the CFP as well as in the NFL playoffs. And you can get them on the recorded line at 888-994-6669, which again is 888-9-WIN-NOW. And be sure to check out my podcast where myself and host Chris Hodge are going to be breaking down and talking strategy about all the games up and coming for every week throughout the playoffs. And we'll be doing it through college basketball, which, by the way, guys, killing it. And I mean killing it in college basketball. So check that out. It's the Bet Big Talk Loud podcast. I'm JR signing off. And guys, let's be safe, have fun, and go out there and make some money.